As it is a kind of lecture, and it is best to be explained, practically on this kind of aid. So I will start by introducing my topic, which is about the phonotactics, and this is, my topic in PhD for the thesis that I have just submitted, and I have come to teach two batches of the master students in this department on my topic, which is phonotactics. When there is a topic in phonology that is discussing phonotactics and phonotactic constraints, I usually teach only the new batch. I didn't get the chance, maybe. So phonotactics is one branch in phonology, and I have presented several papers, and even I have conducted my pre-submission, and I talked a lot about what is phonotactics, what is phonotactic constraints, and those who are attending these kind of presentations and seminars, they have got an idea what is phonotactics. So I would like to ask again my audience, what do you know about phonotactics? Yes, any idea? Phonotactics. If we divide it into two words, as I have just articulated, phono and then tactics. Phono means the sound, and tactics, when you do the tactics, even in the battlefield, you are doing some strategies and arrangement. So tactics here, it means the arrangement of, and phono means sounds. So altogether, phonotactics means the arrangement of sounds. Here, we are not talking about phonetics, because phonetics focuses on single sounds, which we call segments. For example, you come to describe the sound p, how it is articulated, where is it articulated from, and also is it voiced, voiceless. So you are describing one single sound. But when you come to arrange a group of sounds, this is called phonotactics. And there are rules, and there are restrictions. This is what we call phonotactic constraints. So there are some theories in phonotactics, and the theory that I am going to talk about today is the sonority scale theory. I hope that some of you have read or come across this kind of idea or notion, sonority scale. Any idea about sonority scale?
Yes.
Anybody else?
Just the way the sound has been arranged in a word, in the nucleus, the sonority will be at the peak.
Fine.
And it will be the minimal in the margins in a particular syllable.
Very fine. This is the idea of the sonority. Sonority, in a simple definition, means the degree of opening the vocal tract while articulating the sound. The more open the sound, the more sonorous is the sound. So here we are putting another question: what are the most sonorous sounds?
Vowels.
Here, one scholar is interacting and positively. Yes, the vowels are the most sonorous sounds. And what are the least sonorous sounds? These are in phonetics and phonology course books, actually. The least sounds that are sonorous are
Plosives.
the plosives. So if we come to draw a mapping for the scale, we will start by giving a general overview. So if we draw this line, And then we come to divide or scale the sounds into hierarchy. It is called sometimes sonority hierarchy also. Here we have, for example, the obstruents. And we know what are the sounds that are called obstruents. So any idea about obstruents? This category includes 3 categories of sounds. The first one is called the plosives. The second are the affricates. And the third are the fricatives. And we know why we call them plosives or stops, because they start when we produce them. We make like explosion, pa, ta, ka. These are called plosives. Or stop. They are called stop because we stop before articulating them. For example, before you say pa, you must stop. You must close your lips. That's why they are called stops, and then they have make explosion. Then it's like, for example, pa. And affricates like cha, and fricatives like, for example, fa. Fricative from friction. Sh. These are the fricative sounds. Then we come to the next category, which is the nasals. So if, for example, the obstruents are taking the scale of 1, the obstruents, the nasals are taking the scale of 2. And we know what are the nasals. How many nasal sounds do we have in English? Today the talk is about English. How many nasal sounds? 3, fine. Then we come to the laterals. What are the laterals? How many sounds do we have in the lateral category? It's only one, la, la. It is produced from both sides of the lip. We can include 2 categories actually, liquids. So liquids is going to be branched into, what are the 2 sounds in liquids? La and ra. So this one will be lateral, and this one will be flap, or trill, or rhotic, you call it whatever you like. Then comes the glides. What are the glide sounds? How many glide sounds do we have? So this is very helpful for even first year students, second year, and etc. Glides are wa and ya sounds, right? So here are these are the glides. Why sometimes we call them semi-vowels, because when you articulate ya as in yes, it looks like a vowel, but actually it is classified as a consonant, especially in the IPA. And finally, we are having the vowels. And we know the vowels. So if this nasals are taking the scale of 2, liquids will be of 3, and then glides will be of 4. So now look, the sonority is increasing here. And the vowels are the most sonorant, and they are going to take the scale of 5. So here, the sonority scale here states that sounds can be classified into least, sonorance, and most sonorous. The most sonorous, as you can see, are the vowels. Then comes the glides that are somehow like vowels. Then it goes down to liquids, nasals, and obstruents. These are the lowest in the scale. If you produce, for example, now when I come to define the sonority, I said it is the degree of opening the vocal tract. When you produce the sound pa, are you opening your mouth like pa? No, you are closing it. So it is here very close. There is a closure, construction. So pa and even ta. But when you come to the vowels, and for example, you are producing the vowel in the word cat. How do you produce that vowel in the word cat? Your mouth must be wide open. Cat. So it is a sound. Even if we come to draw the vowels shape, for example, this is like the mouth. Within the vowels, we have also some are wide open, like sound, as in sat, or it could be somehow open, as in sound in the word set, or it could be somehow closed, as in sound in the word sit, or it could be closed. The mouth can be closed, as in the sound e in the word seat. So if you are producing seat, sit, set, sat, your mouth is becoming more and more open. Similarly, if you go to the back side, you have the u sound, as in boo, boo, oo sound, as in boot. Then we have in book, sound. Then it goes down into the closed one. Anyhow, this is also having a scale, but generally we are grouping them together into one category, which is called vowels. So now, this is the sonority scale. It starts from the least sonorant sounds to the most sonorous. Now, what is the benefit of discussing such theory? We are going to grasp the benefits specifically in the syllable topic. If we are talking about the syllable of the word, also about the transcription of the word, here sonority theory will help us. Sonority theory, as our friend from MPhil has mentioned, states that there is a peak. Usually the peak must be a vowel, but what is around the vowel are consonants. These are low, or we can say less sonorous. So let's take one example to make the idea clear. I will keep this for some time and then I will draw here. For example, now we have a scale of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And take a word, any word you like, in English, because my focus is in English, my thesis is also in English, as I am an English teacher, so the focus is in English. Then I can come to Arabic and see, is it applied in Arabic? In English it is applied. Only there is one exception for the sound sa. With the other sounds, sonority scale theory is applied for all the sounds of English. So if we take the word, for example, pat. I am talking here sounds. I am not talking letters. I am talking sounds. So if we have the word pat, I need to see how this sound, or in the scale, what is it taking in the scale, and also the pa, what is it taking in the scale, and the ta. We agreed that pa is part of the obstruents, and the obstruents are taking 1. The obstruents are taking 1 in the scale, so we should draw here. Then we have the vowel, and we agreed that in the vowels they are taking the scale of 5. So the vowel here should be mapped here. Then we have the ta, and we agreed that the ta is part of the obstruents. It is part of the plosive sounds, ta, ta, ka. So it should go back down here. So here we come to the point of our friend that in the sonority we have one thing called peak. This is the peak. This is the nucleus. This is the sound that tells us the syllable is here. So this is the peak of the syllable, or it is called the nucleus. Now what we have two sounds here. These two sounds are down. Only this sound must be on the top, and it tells us that there is only one syllable. Once we have two, we will have two syllables. Three syllables. It goes like that. So now when we draw, it goes like this, from pa to the sound, then it goes down. Here, we call the first sound here onset. And the last one is called coda. So this is the onset, this is the coda. Now we have something in sonority which says that the onset rises towards the nucleus, the peak. And for the coda, it falls down. It goes like this. So we can have 1, 2, 3, 4. So by this we can know how many syllables and how to syllabify, how to segment even the long words. But this is not the topic of today. It will be a topic of another day, another lecture. So here is the point. Onsets usually rise towards the peak, the nucleus. And the codas, they fall. There is a fall. So here we are going up, but here we are going down. Pat. Now, if we imagine that we still have other sounds, for example, if we have pat, then we add, it is a long word, but let's add some other sounds. What will happen here? We will go back to the scale. This sound, or let's make it all sound. This sound must be in the scale of 5, and the lah is liquid, and it should take 3 here. So what is happening here? What is happening is that we are going down, because this is a coda. We agreed that for the coda we must fall, we must go down, but for the onset we must go up, but there is no onset here. This is the first syllable, pat, then we have another one. So generally, this is what we are talking about today, and now I will go to more complex words, and then examine the sonority theory. Sonority theory, especially in double onsets and double codas, is very interesting, because for single sounds, this is CV, CV, CV. This is what we need, double C, CCV, CC, V, double C. So now let's take other complex examples, and then you will do some practical to check your understanding of this theory. We will keep the same scale, but let's take the example of snake, for example, or steak, whatever. But we must start with 2 consonants to check the validity of this scale. So if we take, for example, flat, the word flat, we have 2 consonants in the beginning, flat. Now let's give the test. The fa is fricative, and the fricative is part of the obscure ones, so it takes the scale of 1. La is liquid, and it should take 3. So we are going up. Look, now from the first onset to the second onset, we are going up. Now we have the vowel. The vowel is in the scale of 5, so we must go further up till here.